Welcome to Vermonters in Business, where we highlight some of the very best business leaders in our state and the amazing things they're doing in their communities. People of Vermont, welcome to Vermonters in Business, where our mission is to highlight the businesses and business leaders in our state that are doing amazing work in both their careers and their communities. We've got a great show today, but first, please join me in welcoming my co-host. He is a serial entrepreneur, a local business enthusiast, and around here we know him as a world-class insurance agent. Travis, how are we doing today? What hot takes are we working with?
Doing great. Great hot take today about the show Parks and Rec itself. We have someone from building from Parks and Rec and Parks, and but I just gotta say it's one of the most underrated shows ever.
Oh, yeah.
You go back, rewatch it, look at that cast, look where people from that cast have now become in their stardom. I think The Office outshined it, and everyone remembers The Office. But Parks and Rec, great show. Go back and watch it if you haven't.
I love it.
That's my hot take for the day.
I love it. All right. Well, we kind of led into it, but joining us today is Adam Matth from South Burlington Recreation and Parks. Adam, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. First time on a podcast?
It is my first time.
All right. Well, we'll go easy
it's
on
ours
you.
too. So.
Yeah. So first thing I want to dive into, you're originally from Wisconsin, and now you're in South Burlington, Vermont. How did that happen?
So it actually kind of based off of my previous job. So before jumping into the recreation and park side, I was in minor league baseball.
Yep.
So I took a job with the Lake Monsters, and that's what brought me out here. Interned in 2008, and then came out full time in 2012.
Nice. Very nice. What were you doing for the Lake Monsters?
So I kind of worked my way up through some roles there. I originally started overseeing the box office, and then at the end, I was the assistant general manager, so doing some sales as well as staffing.
Very cool. And then you transitioned into the South Burlington Recreation and Parks.
Yep.
What was that like?
It was definitely different. So there was a bit of a gap in there. After the Lake Monsters, I went to the University of Vermont in athletics in their ticket department for a year.
Okay.
And then this opening came up. It kind of related a little bit more to what I was doing with the Lake Monsters. Jumped in, started up in South Burlington in November of 23.
Nice. All right, well, we're going to dive into a little bit more about all the work you're doing over at Recreation and Parks, but before we do that, we have every guest jump into the Vermonter hot seat. Adam, are you ready to tackle the hot seat questions?
Let's try it.
All right. Pancakes or waffles, what are you having with your Vermont maple syrup?
Pancakes.
All right. Perfect day for you. Is it a winter day at the mountain or a summer day at the lake?
Summer day at the lake.
All right. I should have put ballpark. Summer day at
the
ballpark. 25-cent hot dog.
All right. It is your birthday dinner. You can go anywhere in the state. Where are you headed?
Ooh, that is a very good question. I would go pizza at Felino's.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
I was expecting hot dog night at Centennial Field.
No. After about 10 years of hot dogs, I'm good.
All right. It's a hot summer day. What's your creamy order and from where?
Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. I'm not a creamy guy.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. That's all right. You can switch it if it's something else.
No, so if I did, I would just keep it straight. Vanilla and from Burlington Bay. But I don't really like creamies.
No?
All right. Do you like ice cream? Do you like hard serve?
I don't.
All right.
Yeah. So dairy, no dairy.
No, not really.
Show's over, shut it down.
Yeah, I know.
Wisconsin.
I know.
Right?
I've never,
Wisconsin,
ever
Vermont,
grown up.
Be a more dairy person.
Growing up, never been an ice cream.
That's really
guy.
funny. That's funny. All right, well, that's all we got for the hot seat questions. You successfully survived.
Awesome.
Travis, let's take it away. Jump into some of the stuff we're working on over at South Burlington Recreation and Parks.
Yeah. So, Adam, first question: what do you do for the city, and what's your department do? What's your role?
So basically, a broad overview of what we do is we're like the event programming side of the city. So a lot of people think of recreation as your youth sports, soccer, baseball, lacrosse, etc. I kind of came on in November 2013 to expand our community events. So that's really what we focus on. Similar to our music nights at Veterans Park, Illuminate, which we have coming up, where we shut down Market Street for a little while. Staff-wise, we have, it's a 5-person staff. And so it consists of 4 recreation specialists who basically put together our programming and our events, as well as me. And we range from who we oversee and program for, all the way down from like kindergarten, 3 to 4 year olds, up through. We also oversee the senior center.
Okay.
So we have a wide range of spectrum of people that we put together events for.
And I know one of the things you want to talk about is some of those programs that you're now offering. So talk about things you've expanded.
Yeah, so a few of the new things that we've put together. South Burlington, as you guys might know, is like drastically changing when it comes to the demographics. So a lot of high residential buildings are going up on Market Street, which also kind of changes who's living in South Burlington. So it's a lot more young adults and single family people, so that might not have kids. So what we've done is we've definitely expanded our young adult programmings. Some of those is we put together, it's called Social Pulse. It's a young adult social group. Okay. And the way that we kind of put it together is we knew a lot of people don't look as recreation as often kind of that cool place to do stuff when you're 20 to 30. So we've put a few of our programs into it, and then basically every month we shoot out to the members like, hey, this is what's going on at the local breweries. This is what's going on at Higher Ground. These are just like other areas to get your entertainment. Additionally to that, a few of the things last year which we really focused on were trying to get out to more of the parks in South Burlington. So you might be familiar with Veterans Memorial Park is the big one that we have there. That's where we did like all of our programming in the past. Unfortunately, it's not on the bus line, and it's pretty difficult for people to get to. So what we did last year is we kind of spread out all of our programming throughout the city. So we hit, it was about 21 different locations with our events program. One of the really cool ones that we also rolled out was July Fitness. So every day last year in July 1st through the 31st, we offered free fitness classes in our park. So it was rotating to a different park every day, as well as a different type of program, which got a lot of traction in that adult range.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Who was instructing?
So we actually worked with a handful of different instructors. So the way it was kind of set up, Sunday we did a running group, which I actually ran that one. Just like a little like meetup running club. Monday we did yoga at Hubbard Park. So that was run by just a local yoga person there. We did Tai Chi on Tuesdays, Pilates classes on Wednesdays, Thursdays was strength training, Fridays was yoga. And then Saturday we did a Zumba class. And it was just all different like South Burlington fitness places that gave us the instructors.
Nice. Now we talked a little bit about your path to professionally getting to where you are now. How does your past experience help you in your role with the city?
I think it definitely helps like my Lake Monsters experience does because the Lake Monsters were all about engaging different audiences. And that's really what we're trying to do with the rec department. And what's also nice is like the creative side of the Lake Monsters, where obviously the baseball was the background, but then the theme nights, the giveaways, the entertainment kind of correlates very well with what I'm doing now. We're able to basically, nothing is off the table when it comes to what we're putting together in the recreation department. My background, I don't have a typical like rec background. So I don't often look at things probably the same way that other rec departments do. So we're doing educational things, which a lot of rec departments don't. We're doing like a traveling beer garden was something we rolled out last year, which is definitely not something that other rec departments are doing. So I think having that like creativity of the Lake Monsters and then not just being in a rec department background has definitely helped.
Well, like you said, you go to a minor league baseball game, every half inning there's something. Right? And so, and it's to engage people, and you need to bring that to the town.
Totally. And one of the other things that we've done, so SB Night Out is one of our like big events that you guys might be familiar with. So it's a music concert every Thursday night at Veterans Park. One of the areas of kind of how my background has played into it is it's always been just like music and food trucks in the past. So going forward, there's going to be themes to them, whether it's giveaways. So this year we're doing some beach towel giveaways. We're doing back to school night. Fireworks is always a big one in there. Yeah, exactly. Back to school night, we're tossing in there. And then the other side of it is very similar to the Lake Monsters. This year we're going to have a kids zone. So it's totally free. There'll be free face painting, mini golf. We bought a bunch of bounce houses, so we'll be rolling those out this year. So that's something that definitely took it straight from the Lake Monsters, to roll into that, to just change it up a little bit.
Well, and I like what you're talking about too with the young professionals, because I think when you think of a municipality and the social aspect, it's easy to think about the kids, and it's easy to think about seniors. But you do have a large segment of the population who they don't have kids, but they want to be a part of something as well. So I think that makes perfect sense to engage that group.
100%. And I mean, I've rented quite a bit. I own a place now, but when you are a renter too, from what I've seen just based off of my experience, is you don't always feel as connected to the city that you're living in. So that's why we're making a very hard effort to engage that population with fitness classes, but then also just the social.
Well, I know my wife and I, whenever we've moved, you think about it, your circle is, if you have kids, it's the kid, the other kid's parents. So it's I know these people because we're going to games or what have you. And then when your kids grow up and you're single, you're married, but you have no kids anymore. You're just kind of what are we doing? And you mentioned, we talked about pickleball off air, but I mean, that is becoming a huge social gathering where people are getting together. It's let's play pickleball.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's insane. With pickleball this upcoming year, we're rolling out a couple pickleball leagues, which I anticipate those
sell out fast,
filling up instantly.
Yeah. No, that is a good different dynamic there. Plans for, one of the things I think people, not to get into taxes too much, but a lot of times you hear people say, I don't mind paying taxes if I feel like I'm getting something for it. And I've always felt South Burlington is one of those cities that has a lot of green space. You talked about all the parks you have. There, it's a pretty walkable city. So what's the continued plan with that to continue to offer those types of spaces?
Yeah, so actually perfect timing on that question. So we're just in the process of starting up our city parks and recreation as well as open space master plan. So it's basically a year-long public engagement plan where we're looking at all of our parks throughout South Burlington, both the active recreation parks, whether it's where you have baseball diamonds, tennis courts, etc. But then also, to your point, our open spaces and natural areas. So this master plan is basically going to look at all of them and kind of develop a 10-year plan of, hey, this might be how they're used currently, but as the demographics of South Burlington change and the needs of what people are looking for in their parks change, this is the roadmap for how to develop these parks going forward, or also change something like pickleball. Do we need more pickleball courts? Where would we put them? That type of thing.
And what are some of the, you haven't been in the role that long, but what are some of the challenges or things that you encounter on a daily basis?
I mean, one of our biggest challenges is we don't have an indoor rec center, which for South Burlington is kind of unique. Colchester just built a really nice one there, which on the recreation side of things, it turns us into a very seasonal heavy department. Basically, once we can get outside, I mean, we're out rolling, and the majority of our events fall in that May through September timeframe. But obviously, people are looking for things to do during those winter months. We still have locations that we can do things. We utilize the schools. We utilize the University Mall, but it doesn't always allow for the best timing to get into those locations. So I think, our biggest challenge is not having that set in stone recreation department indoor facility that we can go into.
So that'd be a dream thing, if you had any.
100%. 100%.
You're a South Burlington resident. Do you have any feedback?
I mean, I would be in.
I
don't know if we could get it through, but we could try.
No, I mean, that's the big one. And then we have a ton of different parks, and they all kind of serve their own purpose. The one challenge with them when it comes to us like programming and utilizing them for events is they lack parking. So the only two that really have a ton of parking is Veterans and JC. But when we're doing these pop-up events, it's finding parking at the locations, which is, I mean, parking is an issue wherever you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the Thursday night concert series for sure. I also play like in a men's league at Vermont National, so we get like the free music on Thursday nights. Sure. But it's a lot of fun. But one question that you noted on here that's a little bit of a homer question on me because it's near and dear to my heart because I have a daughter that is special needs. But talk a little bit about the adaptive stuff you got cooking.
So what we rolled out, so it's been kind of in the works, kind of on the back quarter of last year as far as building it out and developing it. And then we started up in January. So we wanted to offer adaptive programming because we saw both on like the recreation side of things in the local area, there's nothing really offered. And Special Olympics does an amazing job. But for kids in that like elementary to middle school age, the Special Olympics is challenging because you're competing with grown adults. So we developed it's an adaptive Wednesday program. So basically once a month on the last Wednesday of the month, we have like a rotating event, class, etc. We started it up in January. We did a paint night. In February, we did a baking class. Last month or in March, we did bowling at spare time. And then we're also rolling out, we had a basketball clinic. So basically as our like sports seasons roll through the year, we're going to offer like an adaptive a 3-week clinic to kind of go along with it. So we had our youth basketball that ran from December through the beginning of February. And what we did was the last few weeks of January into February, we ran a 3-week clinic. We're going to be doing the same thing with baseball and softball coming up. We've worked very heavily with Kayla's Directory. Is the organization who's kind of given us a lot of input and guidance on that. But we just saw a need not only in South Burlington,
for sure,
but for the events, and we've only done a few of them so far, we've noticed individuals from Burlington, Colchester, and Milton are some of them that we've seen come to it. What's also nice is it is sponsored. Market 32 and Price Chopper are the sponsors, so they've made it completely free. There's no cost to participate in any of the Wednesdays or the clinics. Once we hit the summer, we're going to be doing some like more social type things, going to a Lake Monsters game, doing a barbecue as some of the adaptive Wednesdays. But that's a very exciting thing that we just kind of have started rolling out and getting off the ground.
Very cool.
Very nice. Everyone's favorite topic, dogs. What's the city doing for dogs or people with dogs?
So we have 2 public dog parks. So we have Wheeler Dog Park, which is right across from Veterans Memorial. That's kind of like our destination dog park. If you go there, I was actually in that area right before I came over here. There were people over there with their dogs. So basically, whenever you go, you'll see people in there. And then we also have one at Farrell Park, which that one, good timing to ask your question on that. So that one's getting kind of renovated this summer. So that's in the works for summer 2025 to basically expand that one. And make it something similar to Wheeler. Right now, it's a very small, kind of crowded area, where it's basically going to get doubled.
Oh, nice.
Very cool.
In size. But so those are the 2 dog parks that we have.
Any more in the plans for the 10-year?
So there's some. So the parks are kind of unique. The way that they're kind of developed, especially with a lot of the development and the housing going up in the area. So there are a few of the like private developers who are going to be putting in dog parks, but it's definitely a hot item.
Yeah.
As there's more and more high density housing,
Yeah.
you need space for your dogs to
Right.
do a little exercise.
Exactly.
Get off leash.
That's
a little
right.
bit.
There's like to run.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't necessarily for your department or what your role is, but just a larger question that has been a conversation in the South Burlington, Chittenden County area for years, is a large venue. It's just been constant. Remember years ago that South Burlington was in the conversations, potentially having something off campus for UVM. Obviously, that didn't materialize. There's always the conversations about the fairgrounds, what's going on out there. Is there some, do you hear any chatter? Is there any conversation? Do you think it's something that would benefit the city if an arena type venue was put in?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it would from an economic
Yeah.
standpoint, just based off of my experience with both the UVM and the Lake Monsters, the amount of people that you're going to be bringing into an area. The challenging thing with South Burlington is just land. I mean, there's not we're surrounded. So unlike Colchester, for example, you have a lot more opportunity. Essex, you have a lot more opportunity, where South Burlington, basically, I mean, for the most part, everything is kind of either conserved for our open spaces or already kind of built in.
Set up to be developed.
Already
got plans.
But, I mean, economically, I'm biased based off of my background, probably. But the amount of people that an arena brings in. Yeah. I mean, your restaurants, your parking, all that.
Well, and you look at the town dynamic, and you talk about young professionals, and obviously another venue that's always in flux is Higher Ground. Where are they going to go? So they leave South Burlington. Well, somewhere in Burlington, accept them. Who knows? But so as those things evolve and change, I always think about the bigger vision of having that multi-use venue. Where you can have, maybe it's collegiate games, high school games, a small concert venue, what have you.
I think our area too is kind of unique because you don't unlike some small cities or areas, the cities blend so into each other. So even if it is something that Burlington puts up or Williston is another one that has a lot of development going up right now. The lines blur so much that people don't even really realize what's in South Burlington, what's in Williston, what's in Essex. So it all kind of builds, and we always talk about that. The stronger Burlington is, the stronger
the surrounding
everyone is.
Yeah, definitely. What's you talked about the larger plan. Some crystal ball stuff. What are some other things you'd like to maybe over the next couple of years bring to the department or add for citizens?
So I mean, one thing that we are, and we're starting to slowly get there right now. So one of my goals, based off of looking at the Boston Recreation and kind of how they do their things, which obviously is a much larger component, but they use their adult programs to offset the cost for their youth programs. So basically, their adult leagues, kickball, basketball, soccer, etc., make their youth sports either free or drastically reduced. So one of my goals is to eliminate the cost for youth recreation, just to eliminate that barrier, so that everyone at least getting into the sports doesn't have a financial component to do it. This summer, we are actually rolling out our first, so the Tyke and Kinder Pro sports, it's the entry level. Those are going to start being free this summer going forward. Obviously, there's a lot more youth programs that we do that there's opportunities for to do that. But that's a big thing on my end. And then it's also getting more. One thing that we've heard a lot about since I've been here is more cultural programs, events, even tying things in community dinners that are cultural related. So that will be another big thing over the next couple of years for the department.
So do you need to expand more adult programs to?
Yeah, so we have drastically. So over the last year, we offered about 30 different adult programs, and that was like sports, like cooking classes, music classes, that type of thing. This year in 2025, we've already offered 50.
Okay.
But to eliminate the cost of youth programs, we got to like go hard for a while.
Sure.
But that's the big thing. And then also, I guess one area for us is food.
Yep.
And like food insecurity. A lot of people look at South Burlington as very, very wealthy, which it is in like some portions of it. But one of my first things that I did with the recreation department was I met with the local principals at all the elementary schools. Mm-hmm. And it's between 30 and 40% of students in elementary schools are on subsidized meals in South Burlington. Yep. So obviously during the summer time frame, there's a pretty large gap in there. So that's also a big portion of what we're trying to do is provide food, provide nutritional value at our programming and at our events.
Nice. What do you see as kind of the health of the youth rec sports kind of in the area? I know there's kind of been, it seems like now more than ever there's a big push for, pay-to-play travel leagues and all these things that have kind of impacted the numbers some.
It definitely has impacted the numbers. I mean, kind of the way that we're set up, like we're almost kind of that like early entry stage sports. As far as our numbers, they've been online with years past as far as participation. But that being said, kind of once they get through ours, then it does go into your like far post Nordic, Queen City soccer, which is definitely much more travel heavy and that side of things. Lacrosse, kind of same thing. We get it started and then go from there. I mean, from my background with the Lake Monsters, like what I've seen since I started in Vermont in 2012, youth baseball has definitely been kind of going down. And off that, like it's been shifting to lacrosse and soccer. But that's more what I've seen.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah.
Being a baseball guy.
I played all the sports, but I played like if there was I was in the rec leagues, I was also in the other. It was like nonstop. I
mean, I
get
saw
you out of the house.
I saw it quite a bit with the Lake Monsters because I ran our like youth fundraising programs while I was there, and the numbers, not like South Burlington per se, but I mean across the board, Essex, Colchester, Williston. Virgins, like all of them were kind of slowly going down while I was there. But.
Well, I think the unfortunate thing, not to go on a tangent about the organized leagues, but a lot of these travel teams are limiting you. So like you said, when we were kids, we could just play whatever we want, whenever we want. But now you have like far posts is like, well, you can't do that. Right. You got to do this. And so I think there's this demand on the parents to want their kids to succeed. So they're like, well, I'm dropping all this cash. Well, guess what? Now you can't play that because they're not going to let you do it. Right. And so that's what's really impacting, I feel, anyway, the youth sports, where kids before would play, it'd be 7 days a week, it'd be two different things, and now they can't.
Yeah, and you were playing things more seasonally, I think, too, where it was like, hey, the summer season, that's baseball. But now people are playing basketball year-round, or soccer year-round, where you're not going from one sport to the next.
Well, my thing was always, too, you drive by a field on a nice day, and it's always empty. And you're like, when we were kids, we would just go to the field. Now you're like, there's no one out here. What's going on? But again, I feel like we've taken it to the point where if it's not structured, kids won't do it. 7 kids in town, probably when you were a kid, would just go down to the park and we're going to play baseball. And now it's like, well, no, unless there's 3 parents involved who are structuring it, the kids aren't going to do it. And I feel that's unfortunately the dynamic.
I remember, we did the similar. We ride our bike to like the football field. We'd be trying to throw the football, riding our bikes. Somebody would eat it. It'd be the whole thing. But
and then you'd mix the teams up if one team was too dominant. Jimmy can't be on that team anymore. That's what's going on. But I feel we've kind of gotten away from just the looseness
the organic
of it.
And,
Exactly. And now it's just like, no, it's got to be rigid and structured and all this stuff.
All right.
Anything we missed?
No. I mean, that kind of kind of hits on what we have coming up. One thing that we do have, which I definitely wanted to give a shout out for in the short term, end of April is our big event on Market Street.
Okay.
Illuminate Vermont. So it's basically a 2-day festival where we shut down Market Street. We have music, craft vendors, and entertainment.
Nice.
5 to 9, April 25th and 26th.
All right. Fantastic.
If people want to learn more about different opportunities with the recreational department they have going on this summer, where can they find it?
They can go straight to our website.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on the the URL. Just go to the South Burlington city website, drop down Rec and Parks, and then all of our events and programs are listed out there.
Fantastic.
Right. Cool.
Great. Thanks, Adam.
This
Appreciate
has
it.
been another episode of Vermonters in Business. As always, if you know somebody that's doing amazing work in their communities and you'd like to see them on our show, please send a name our way. We would love to connect with them. All right. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks,
Cool.
Adam. Appreciate
Thanks for having
it.
us.
Nice
Yeah,
job,
no problem.
man.
Good job.
Good work.
Thank you.
You're pro.